success often comes from struggle. The irony of success is that success a lot of times comes from the places and the times where you feel like you're at your lowest. So that's what I want to share a bit about today. I want to share a bit about how you can achieve the dreams you want to achieve despite what you're going through, or perhaps I should say because of what you're going through. So how many people feel like they're going through a challenge in their life right now at this moment? Okay. I want everybody to first write this down. The very first step to getting where you want to be is to believe it. Is to believe it. I want everybody to say this with me. I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
You're not saying it like you're going to convince anybody. I believe.
I believe.
That I can do.
That I can do.
What I put my mind to do.
What I put my mind to do.
Let's say it one more time. I believe.
I believe.
That I can be.
That I can be.
What I put my mind to do.
What I put my mind to do.
Okay. You have to mean it. That's the very first step. I'm not just talking about think happy thoughts. I'm talking real keys to success. How many people heard of Henry Ford? Henry Ford. What did he do? Somebody tell me what he did. Quick, what did he do? He created one of the first mass assembled cars. You're right. The Ford. What else did he create? What else he created?
He was also the creator of the assembly line.
He was also the creator, yes, of the assembly line. He was also the creator of the 8-hour workday. I'm bringing up Henry Ford, not just because Time magazine named him the most influential businessman of the last century, but because of this quote, which I love, and I had to write it on my mirror at home. He said, whether you believe you can or you can't, either way, you're right. Whether you believe you can or you can't, either way, you are right. These aren't my words, these are his words. The power of belief will change your world. Belief is what put man on the moon, y'all. Belief has created nations. If you don't believe it, you can't achieve it. But if you believe it, you can. I want to show you all a picture. Ashton said, absolutely right, my very first, well, I grew up in Baltimore City. How many of y'all heard of Baltimore? Raise your hand if you heard of Baltimore. I won't ask you to say what you've heard about Baltimore. But Baltimore was an interesting experience. And I lived there until I was about 13 years old. And I moved from there, and I moved into a trailer park when we went to Virginia. This is one of the pictures of it. This is actually a nicer picture. And in a lot of ways, it was out of the frying pan and really like into the fire. Okay, because when Baltimore, you know, I was around mostly people of color, and, you know, everybody kind of didn't have money, and that was fine. Virginia was the first place that I lived in where I actually saw a Confederate flag. How many people see? I'm not talking about on the television. How many people have seen a Confederate flag in person? Okay. This shocked me because I thought I didn't even know people still had this. This trailer park was the first time I saw people walking around barefoot. They ain't gonna call me a nigga. At least I had shoes. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. This right here, because I don't want you. I mean, you know. When people see you where you are now, it's hard for people to imagine. It's like, well, you always had these. I want you to see. That's why I want to show some of these pictures. I want you to get an idea of what the world was around. But the power of belief. I can't act like I had it all together. What was the saving grace for me is that I had a mother who told me, you might live in the trailer park, but you don't have to be defined by the trailer park. And I'm talking to somebody right here, right now, who's living in a situation where you feel like, why am I living here? Why is it that this is happening to me? Why can't I be somewhere else? But can I tell you honestly, I don't think I'd be where I am today if I hadn't had some of these experiences. I didn't see it that way then. It took me living for some time to understand that all things had worked together for my good. I want you to see the power of belief. We talk first about believing and then you can achieve. How many people have ever heard people say, don't be a product of your environment? Don't be a product of your environment. I think we've all heard that. I believe that when you have the right mindset, you can make your environment a product of you. One of the things that I learned when I was here, and somebody needs to hear this, I think this is so powerful, and these aren't my words. What I learned here was that just because other people don't believe in you doesn't mean you can't go where you're destined to go. That's what I want you to understand about the power of belief. It's you believing. It's not other people believing. You want to know how many people laughed at me when I said that I wanted to go to college when I was living here? People would say things like, college? Who's going to pay for that? How are you going to get there? I told somebody I wanted to be a lawyer. They said, do you even know a lawyer? And it was true. I didn't know any lawyers at that time. But I believed that my life didn't have to be what other people said my life has to be. I'm telling you this because I really want you to understand that it's nice to have people on board. It's nice to have friends who support you and want you to do well. But before you can have other people to support you and other people to believe in you, you have to believe in yourself. If you don't, I promise you, nobody else will. Power of belief.